another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is. Game, set, and match.
Hello and welcome to the 2024-25 APTA Tour. We're live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the Short Hills Invitational with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors Volley and Corient. Tournament support has been provided by the following local sponsors: JP Morgan Private Bank, Maple Crest Ford Lincoln of Union, Master Athletics, Spiro, Harrison, and Nelson, New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association, Club Pilates, Paper, Ribbon, and Wrap, Center Court Padel, Suzanne Emmerich of Keller Williams Premier Properties, T-Spa, and the New Jersey Flex League. I'm Guy Moore, along with David Broderick, bringing you the men's semifinals. Mark Powers and Guillermo Nunez playing against Johan Randt and Stephen Mitchell, our number 2 and 4 seeds. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Guy. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a great morning of paddle here. The players on the screen, the top left, the lefty, in the deuce side is Guillermo Nunez, and his partner to the right of your screen on top is Mark Powers. And as Guy mentioned, they'll be taking on Stephen Mitchell and Johan Randt, who are on the bottom of the screen at the net. Stephen Mitchell is on your left wearing the black vest, and Johan Randt has the gray Xenon sweatshirt on, warming up. This match is going to be played 2 out of 3 best tiebreak sets, and our chair umpire today, Guy, is going to be Mike Yashimsky.
Yeah, Dave, this is, how many national titles do we have out here? You have your reigning national champions with Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers. Powers has got 2, Nunez has got 1. Durant and Mitchell have won 3, I believe, and Johan has 2 more with Parsons, and then another one with Albright. So,
Albright,
I mean,
it's a lot of star power.
Yeah, and you know, this tournament, you and I were talking off air just a moment ago. I mean, I've looked at the depth of this draw. I mean, this is basically the Nationals, you know, minus 1 or 2 players that hopefully will be in the Nationals. But, I mean, every one of the top teams in the country are here this weekend. And the interesting thing, too, is the seeds in the men's semis, they held true. And I kind of looked at it before the tournament started, and I felt that would happen. So we're kind of getting what we want here. Yeah,
and you know, it's we've done a lot of matches. We've seen a lot of matches throughout the season, and you know, at the end of the day, this is the time when these guys want to be peaking, and you know, this is sort of when they say the cream rises to the top, is towards the end of the year, because you know, everybody wants to win all the tournaments they're entered in, but at the end of the day, you know, everybody's looking to win the national title and be a national champion. That's really what it's kind of comes down to. So you know, it's no surprise that you see all of the top teams and all the top players in the country here at the Short Hills Invitational. And you know, we mentioned it yesterday talking about it, just the deep history. It is the 73rd year of this tournament. I think the only other longer running yearly event is the Nationals.
Yeah, I mean, and you know firsthand, this tournament is, I mean, New Jersey looks forward to this tournament every single year. It's just a very well-run event, and you saw the list of sponsors and support. I mean, it's just, in all the local clubs and all the directors at these places, and very, very generous with court usage and support.
Yeah, no, it definitely wouldn't happen without all the other clubs and the other rackets professionals in the area, and all the understanding memberships to allow the courts to be used. And I mean, I know they were using our courts all the way out in Fiddler's Elbow, all the way down to you know, Plainfield Country Club, and so there's a wide variety of territory covered just to make this happen. So it's good to see, though. It was a great crowd here yesterday afternoon. The action was pretty intense. And if you look at this when you're watching from yesterday, Guy, Steven Mitchell and Johan Randt had a three-setter, but we'll let Mike Yashimsky take over here for a minute.
2025 Short Hills Invitational. This is a men's semifinal round match. We'll play best 2 out of 3 sets with tie breaks. Introducing my players to my left. Playing in the deuce court from Wayland, Massachusetts, Johan Randt. His partner on the ad side from Natick, Massachusetts, Stephen Mitchell. And on my right, playing in the ad court from New York, New York, Mark Powers. His partner on the deuce side, also from New York, New York, Guillermo Nunez. I think you guys won, right, Stephen? You guys won the spin? Yeah. Durant Mitchell won the spin, and they're going to receive.
Yeah, Dave, I think you were about to talk a little bit about kind of the draw coming, the road to the semis here.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mitchell and Durant yesterday had an interesting 3-set match against Chris Humphreys and Russell Bentheim. They first set was kind of pretty traditional, methodical, and Humphreys and Bentheim kind of controlled the tempo, and they won the first set. And then the next 2 sets, Johan and Steven looked to create a little bit of movement and speed up the game a little bit by going to more of the heavy, hard-hitting roller overheads that they're known for, and it allowed them to prevail 6-2, 6-1 in the next 2 sets. And then on the other side, you had Mark Powers and Guillermo Nunez taking down Eric West, and he played with Tyler Frazier, which was a little bit of a surprising match. Not that the outcome, but just Nunez and Powers played a pretty flawless match, and it didn't seem like Frazier and West really had answers for what they were doing. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on this morning. I think everyone's going to be treated to a great match either way.
Yeah, going back to Powers and Nunez, the defining shot in that entire match was Mark Powers' forehand. Mark Powers' forehand was A+, and Powers and Nunez had a really, really good net scheme who was hitting overheads. They generally share the responsibility, but it was more of Nunez hitting his cutters and sliders, and then Powers taking advantage when something was hit short and kind of dictating play. So see if we have more of that early in this match.
15-all.
And Guy, you see even off the first 2 returns of serve, Mitchell and Durant both looking to hit returns and kind of put a little pressure on with moving in, blitzing a little bit. And, I don't know if they're necessarily looking to cut balls off, but they're definitely looking to speed up play. And, they want to feel their presence. They want it to be known early on that they're looking to move forward and look to attack a little bit, as we see here from a couple of early mistakes on volleys.
Yeah, I would say Durant and Mitchell, if they, and you can see already Durant is being Durant.
15-40.
I haven't seen him play this aggressively early in a match in a while, and this is when he's best. So his range is probably the best range in the game and always has been. His reach, and he moves very quickly, and it doesn't look like
30,
it. He
40.
can be to the net in 2 steps, just like you saw.
He covers a lot of court with his
Game,
height
Ron
and his
Mitchell.
width.
They lead 1
His
game to
wingspan
love
is
first
incredible. And we know he likes to blitz. He likes to stay on top of the net, and he can cover a lot of court. And it's intimidating, and he forces some mistakes just by the other team feeling the pressure of him being at the net, trying to go for more than they really have to.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting here to see from the beginning what happens with these overheads with Durant and Mitchell. Are they going to speed it up or kind of work their way into the match at the net? I think you were mentioning that in that second and third set yesterday late afternoon that they sped it up and created some chaos, right?
Yeah, and that's, I don't know if they necessarily want to play chaotically, but they definitely want to create movement and activity and speed, and they definitely are going to try, I think, to make Nunez and Powers play to their speed. I don't think they want to play
15
a
low.
slower, more traditional game that I think Powers and Nunez is going to be looking to play. I definitely think they're going to be looking to speed the play up a little bit.
Yeah, a little back. 15 all.
And we talk about speeding it up or creating chaos. It's just by those hard hit overheads, making the other team play a little more defensive, because when Johan starts hitting hard rollers, the mindset is to kind of just get out of the way, and then tactics kind of go by the wayside.
30-15.
Right, and as easy as it's said to get out of the way, once you do, you still have to chase it down.
Exactly.
40-15.
And, this is, we were talking off air a little bit as well about the same, and, this is the perfect temperature to get away with hitting some hard overheads, because the ball doesn't have nearly the likelihood of going out of the court, or more importantly, coming back over the net.
Yep.
Game, Randt Mitchell, they lead 2 games to love. First set.
Guy, what do you think? We want to see Powers and Nunez slow this one down maybe? These first 2 games have been a little quick, and again, that's definitely going to favor Randt Mitchell, and that's the way they want to play. And you see them just, they're both attacking, they're both blitzing, they're looking to cut volleys off, looking to put pressure still from the beginning.
Yeah, they're just, with Nunez and Powers, just a couple loose drive errors, again, working their way into the match. I don't think they missed as many drives yesterday as they have already in this match, so they'll clean that up.
No, I agree 100% with you. I watched that match, and, it was pretty flawless the way Nunez and Powers played that quarterfinal match last night.
Yeah, they reminded everyone very quickly while they're the reigning national champions, did they not?
That is correct, yeah.
And as Nunez starts to get loose, you'll see him adding more and more spin to that overhead. I mean,
30 all.
listen to the sound of the ball off Mitchell's paddle, right?
That sounded hard.
He sure did.
Guy, I tell everyone all the time, I'd play Mitchell and Randt anytime they want, as long as they lob every ball.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid of Johan Durant's lob.
Yeah. Okay. What do you tell them when they're at the net and you're on the baseline? What do they have to do?
I'm going to call timeout and take a break.
Yeah.
And stand on the other side of the fence.
As you said earlier, you're gonna deplane.
That's it.
Yep.
The thing we talk about the big rolling overhead of Randt. He does it where it looks exactly the same as the rest of the off-speed ones. And he disguises it so well, so it is really hard to get out of the way, even though kind of when you sense it's coming.
Yeah, especially, and that's where he mostly hits it, especially when he hits it at the deuce side player, the forehand side player, assuming you're righty. There's just nowhere to go.
Right.
Deuce.
And Dave, you see Randt and Mitchell switching sides in the back a lot, but they love to return on the sides. Randt likes to return on that deuce side, and Mitchell likes to return on the backhand side. Yeah, you can see from the baseline perspective that Randt is setting the tone early here with not only Randt but Mitchell too. They are looking to move forward and blitz on any opportunity they get. And that's that Powers forehand that was on fire last night. No backswing, quick release.
And Guy, one of the things, you know, that it's early on in the match, so it's still kind of new, but, you know, the more that Mitchell and Randt are going to blitz and look to press forward a little bit, you know, it's easy to sustain it now, but what happens, you know, in the middle of the second set, the end of the second set, at some point it's going to wear on you a little bit. So I think for Powers and Nunez, they're going to have to figure out a way to try to keep them back a little bit more and not let them move forward because, again, you know, you can only come up with so many great shots in a match.
Right. And it is, like you say, it's constant pressure. And let's see how quick in the backcourt these guys switch out. Don't need to.
Randt Mitchell.
That's the overhead we're talking about from Nunez. He lets it drop, and it's just like snowboard time.
Yeah, he really knifed that one and put a
Just
lot of
doesn't
spin on
come.
it.
Yeah.
Advantage Randt Mitchell.
It's almost impossible to play that ball. I mean, that's why you saw Mitchell miss that wide. I mean, there's just so much spin on it. It's hard to direct it. There's a switch. Dave, interesting. Let's. Do you think they switch to? I mean, obviously, they feel like they can create a little bit more from the backcourt. But do you think any part of that switch has to do with Johan liking to move forward with his backhand to his left from that side?
I do. I was actually just thinking about that, and you know, and it's like we talk about the moving and you know, where are they going and why are they moving, but it definitely looks like when Johan is up on the edge side of the court that he feels a lot more free to roam around.
Yeah. Well, you think about it too, and I say backhand to his left, but he has obviously a tremendous amount of range with his forehand. There's a switch again. Let's see how quick he looks to move forward. Yeah, I just feel like that's the best way to describe it. He probably has more range moving and creating on that side in transition.
Game, Randt Mitchell, they lead 3 games to love first set.
See Randt getting out of the way of that one.
Yeah, he wanted no part of that. I don't blame him.
I'll tell you early on, Guy, I don't know if you would agree with this, but Randt and Mitchell looked pretty good. They came out ready to play.
I tell you, Dave, it's as good as I've seen them look this early in a match. I mean, they came out with obviously a definitive net plan to control the tempo early. And, you know, we haven't talked about it, but one of the things that just make them so good is their return of serve. I mean,
right. That sets the table up for the rest of the point.
I mean, their return of serve is they give you nothing, and then you combine that with some blitzing and movement.
Love 15.
And Guy, one of the things with their return of serve for everyone out there watching, if you notice, they literally hit the ball right at the person, the server running in. They don't, very rarely do they miss wide, you know, maybe sometimes in the net, but for the most part, their return goes literally right at the person running in. And their theory is, you know what, my return is better than your serve. Let's see how good your first volley is.
Yep, and we know the first
15 all.
volley is the toughest shot in the game if you decide to serve and volley,
Right.
which most players do. I mean, still many of the paddle points in within the first 3 shots, either a fault of a serve or missed return or a miss of a first volley. So if you're serving, you're actually responsible for 2 out of those 3. So
You're feeling the
that's
pressure.
why, yeah, you even saw that Randt Mitchell won the spin and elected to receive.
$15-30. $30 all.
In our other semi, Dave, we have Graham McNerney and Adam Morgan playing against Alvy Regalado and Jose Salazar. How long do you think that match goes, Dave?
That could be a long one. Guy, I don't want to jinx us, but I'm going to say that it's going to potentially be longer than ours.
Yeah, don't do that, Dave.
$40-30.
You know, and we talk about speeding it up from, and you know, I think we should explain this even more, Dave. You know, why do we talk about speeding it up from the Randt side of the court, Randt Mitchell side of the court? Because we've seen what it does when it happens. I mean, it is honestly one of the most devastating overheads ever in the game, just because of the speed and pace of it. So. And having seen it firsthand playing against it, I mean, once you have that ball hit at you, you always have to think about it.
Right.
But
Game, Durant
on the
Mitchell,
other
they lead 4-0 first set.
on the other side of it, look, they're up 4-0 against the national champions. I mean, they haven't had to pull it out.
Right.
So why? You could say both sides of it, but you know, yesterday in the men's quarters, you know, they lost the first set, and it was a good adjustment. The speed came out.
Love 15.
And I think right now for them racing out to a 4-love lead, I think Nunez and Powers are still not, you know, they haven't reached their stride in this match yet. And I expect that to change for them. You know, they're making a bunch of uncharacteristic mistakes on forehand drives, to your point, where, you know, they've certainly missed more drives in the first 4 games than they have, you know, than they did last night in the entire quarterfinal match. So, you know, I think at some point you're going to see them cleaning that up. And again, we see the pressure of Durant just, you know, dominating.
Love 30.
And the more I watch it, and the more I, you know, we just had this conversation, I'm certain he loves to switch out so he can do exactly what we just saw. I mean, it's happened over and over today.
15-30.
Nunez needs to do a lot more of that.
Yep.
That overhead, again, going to that backhand ad side is very difficult to deal with.
See another good spin
30
serve
all.
there. And I think, you know, if you're Nunez and Powers, you know, you can't let Durant Mitchell keep staying this far ahead, because, you know, the further they get ahead,
40-30.
the more attacking Johan's doing.
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the best front-running teams ever.
Right, when they have the lead, then it's just easier for them to go full steam ahead.
Game, Nunez Powers. Durant Mitchell lead 4-1 first set.
Hey, Guy, did you know that Volley has thrown 5 million balls to players working on their game? Don't get left behind. Get your reps in with Volley. Whether it's day or night, you're in control of your training. Volley offers world-class training on demand, helping you sharpen your skills and level up your game whenever it fits your schedule. Ready to join the movement? Start training smarter with Volley today. Guy, were you on the Volley machine this morning when I first tried calling you?
You know what? The volley machine even works well in the snow. So yes, as your brother said last night on our on our live stream. He wanted me to work on my backhand, so that's what I was doing.
All right. What was it throwing at you? Snowballs?
In between, yes. Speaking of backhands, and we haven't seen it yet,
Love 15.
I would be surprised that sometime during this match, Johan has a very good one-handed backhand that he just
30.
flicks. He doesn't use it much, but when he does, it's one of the better backhands in the game. One-handed backhands, I should say.
Love 40.
And this is what Nunez and Powers need, Dave,
Yep.
to get right back in this set. A quick game here. There it is.
And
Game, Nunez Powers.
I mean, it's
Durant
going to
Mitchell
sound
lead
very
4 games
simple
to
and
2, first
you know
set.
kind of obvious, but
Yeah, 6 games.
they didn't miss one forehand in that game. You know, we
Yep.
talked about it earlier where Powers and Nunez kind of were making a few uncommon mistakes that they normally wouldn't make. And then you look at that game and they just, every drive they hit was in, and, you know, a little bit of a different result.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we saw last night. Just a very, very clean, well put together match by Nunez and Powers. And we all know this, Dave. I mean, it's a lot of paddle yesterday, both physically and mentally. So, you know, first thing in the morning, it takes a few minutes in games to get into the match.
That early morning 9 o'clock start, you got to maybe shake off the cobwebs a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, that first step out of bed, legs a little sore, right?
Yep. You're feeling yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And you are seeing Nunez and Powers slow it down here.
Love 15.
That was a pretty good first volley.
Love 30.
Well, and I was just going to say, do you think Nunez and Powers, if Durant and Mitchell keep returning like this,
They should
will-
probably stay back.
yeah, they're going to have to eliminate those mistakes because they're just playing catch up. And the first volley is also so difficult because there's a threat of the blitz all the time.
Right. Right. It's not just the return itself.
Right.
It's the other
I mean,
outside interference involved.
yeah, even if you were serving alone playing half court, cross court
15-30.
with that return, I mean, it's still going to be tough without any threat of a blitz. Wow, great get by Durant. Ball was behind him. Yeah, and Nunez is great at that, sneaking across and dropping.
I mean, look at this get. That point, you think everyone thought it was over?
It was for everyone except for him. I think both teams know that. I was just going to say both teams know this is a very
30-40.
important point. Nunez and Powers win this game. They're right back in the set. They lose it. It's uphill. Just a switch to see how quick Durant moves forward here.
Wow.
Game, Durant Mitchell. They lead 5 games to 2, first set.
I think Stephen Mitchell saw that overhead coming.
Well, it's just Nunez and Powers have to neutralize this offense. They're just getting way too many good looks. You know, more balls to the screen, deeper pushes.
And again, you know, Randt and Mitchell want to drive the ball. They want to play, you know, they want to play faster points. They want volley drive exchanges. They want blitzing. They want movement.
Yeah, so you know, Dave, we are seeing the speed, right? We're just seeing it from the baseline.
Right.
You know, the speed we've been talking about is
At the net,
overhead
right,
speed.
yeah.
Yeah, so they are playing more aggressively from the baseline, and they're getting the speed and tempo they want.
Love 15.
Record winner there by Mark Powers. Let's see if that helps with a little momentum swing here for them, for the team of Nunez and Powers.
And you heard Mitchell say no one to Johan, although then Powers came in, but he's letting Johan know that there wasn't someone on top of the net.
No. 15-0.
Pressure by Mitchell. And Dave, you saw Mitchell when he moved in there. The only ball he was looking for is the one that was hit hard right at him.
15
He
30.
didn't even make a move on that ball that was high and right.
Right, anything else, he's letting it go.
There's a little bit of look at that Randt backhand, even though it was off the screen. That's the flick I was mentioning. And I tell you what, we talk about Mitchell and Randt getting looks. Great overhead by Nunez.
15-40.
That's by design, by where they're lobbing. They're
Right.
creating the looks by creating the movement of the ball. And Dave, we know the more the net team moves, the weaker they are. The less they move, the stronger they are from a positioning aspect.
And tactically, Randt and Mitchell are lobbing the specific spots,
30-40.
kind of knowing where the ball should be coming back on the next play.
Absolutely.
Game, Nunez Powers. Randt Mitchell lead 5-3, first set.
And we talk about it all the time, but, you know, being down 5-2, I mean, set's not even close to being over, especially with a team like Nunez and Powers. But win or lose the set, they've recreated some momentum back in their direction.
Yeah, and it goes back to the last game that Mark Powers served, how you saw, you know, a couple of loose mistakes, and, you know, 30-all point was a little bit of a loose mistake there. And, you know, if they hold on to win that game and it's 4, I mean, now we're looking at 4-all, not 5-3. And we talk about it all the time that, you know, the deeper these tournaments go and the tougher the matches are, you know, again, it was maybe 1-2 points that makes it the difference between, you know, being even at 4-all or down 5-3.
Absolutely, and there's the pressure from
15-0.
Durant. I mean, enough with Mitchell's return, but then Durant's standing in your face, and there's the pressure from Mitchell.
15-30.
I think this Dave would be a great game for them to stay back.
Right.
I mean, they end up back there anyways, right?
Yeah.
But not only that, they just won the last game, essentially staying back
Back from the
right?
baseline, right? Yep.
Yeah. So recognizing where the success is. Yeah, Nunez is getting nice and loose with that overhead.
Guy, if you knew,
And that's why,
go ahead, Guy.
and that's why, you know, they really want the net, because, and there's a smart play, him staying back. So maybe that's the beginning of that.
I was going to say, Guy, if you're Nunez coming in or Powers when he's serving, do you think about
30-40.
following it back to where the blitzer was coming from instead of trying to keep it away from him?
For sure. For sure. I mean, it's nice to have a target, and it's much easier with the range of the blitzer, when you're trying to keep the ball away from them, it's a much easier volley for them to hit. There's that ball. Yeah.
Deuce.
And that's the pattern he generally likes, Dave, is he'll go a couple balls to the deuce side and then wait for that ball, let it drop well below his head. And they are staying back now. Smart.
Guy, it's interesting to watch, like when you see Randt on the baseline, you know, when we're coaching and
Advantage,
teaching, we tell
Mitchell.
pretty much all our students, you know, stay out of the blue in ready position. It's interesting to watch how much time Johan Randt spends in the blue, just looking to move in, looking to step forward, shrinking the court.
Game,
There we have it.
Mitchell, they win the first set 6-3.
Yeah, Dave, to be continued. We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by Joho.
At Volley, we build tools to unlock your potential. The new Volley PTI feature breaks down your game like never before. Ever wondered, which partner has impacted my PTI the most? What's our win percentage as the favorite or underdog? Do I perform differently in 2 or 3 set matches? Now, it's all at your fingertips. The PTI tool is free to everyone. Download the Volley app today and level up your game. We'll see you on the court.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Short Hills Invitational in Short Hills, New Jersey. With this semifinal match, we have Stephen Mitchell and Johan Randt playing
15.
against Guillermo Nunez and Mark Powers. 6-3 in the first set. Dave, I'll let you introduce and reintroduce our players.
Yep.
But a very, very smart, almost flawless first set from Randt and Mitchell, with the exception of one game.
Yeah, no, so the players out on the court, Guy, are the top of your screen in all black. To the left is Guillermo Nunez, and his partner to the right of the screen in the ad side of the court is Mark Powers. And at the net, Johan Randt is on the left side with the red shirt, red sleeves, and his partner about to hit the ball now is Stephen Mitchell. And yeah, no, Guy, they played a pretty solid game plan and first set, and you know, I think if you were watching this match, you saw right from the beginning, Randt and Mitchell are looking to play from the baseline
15-0.
fast. They're looking to hit drives. They're looking to blitz. They're just looking to put pressure with movement and power. So, you know, I think Nunez and Powers are going to have to look to really slow this second set down quite a bit. But I also think Nunez and Powers gave them a couple of easy points at some big times that we're not accustomed to seeing out of the defending national champions.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow start in the beginning, but they tightened the ship up, and I felt like they were starting to gain some real rhythm at the end of that second set.
And I'd mentioned it earlier that, you know, in the end of the first set where, you know, the set score was 6-3, but, you know, Nunez and Powers had an opportunity. If they win a point, we could still be playing the first set. I mean, they had an opportunity where they could have kind of brought it back to almost 4-all after it was all said and done.
Yeah, and I think they'll use that momentum coming into this second set. Yeah, that look from Nunez is a good look. I mean, the ball comes back to him. He's just going to lob the next ball down the line and create the movement over to Powers' forehand.
30-40.
And I think, you know, I agree 100% with you that that was the right look for Nunez on that drive. It's just that, again, I think the pressure of...
to love, second set. Randt Mitchell won the first 6-3.
The pressure of Randt up on the net, it makes you go for a little bit more on your shots, and you know it's something you don't see, but you and I both know you feel it when you're out there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Nunez and Powers to get right back in this match is trying to neutralize the offense of Randt and Mitchell, and that kind of neutralizes the blitzing because there's not nearly as much blitzing if they're not hitting offensive drives. And then on the flip side, when Nunez and Powers on the baseline, and you just saw a glimpse of it the last game, they need to do a very good job of setting up Mark Powers' forehand.
And Guy, just to give everyone an update, we talked about, we're into our 11th game of this match. In the other semifinal matchup, they are all tied 2-2 in the first set.
Exactly. And it might stay 2-2 and being tied for another 20 minutes, right?
It could be. In the other semifinal, just to remind everyone out there, it's Regalado Salazar taking on McNerney and Morgan.
Yeah, the speed of Mitchell and Durant's overheads, you notice how they're all landing beyond the service line unless there's some type of angle like that. But they're just very difficult. Like, that's just a great overhead, just deep enough, dying into the back wire. Just not an easy ball to drive.
And Durant and Mitchell do keep their overheads very low. So it does make it a tougher shot to drive from the baseline. It's also interesting,
15 love.
You're watching this and you had mentioned the forehand of Powers, how, Nunez and Powers want to set that shot up. There's definitely, you can see that Durant and Mitchell are keeping the ball away from the forehand of Mark Powers as well, because, as much as we talk about Durant Mitchell, there's no shortage of power with Powers' forehand.
And, this team of Nunez and Powers, still a very new team, even though they're national champions. I mean, they have not been playing that long together. They just had a great run at the Nationals. Beat Alvi Regalado and Jose Salazar in a thrilling three-setter in the finals. And then you have Durant and Mitchell with just years of experience. And I said it on the last stream that we had that, that's been a long, long time partnership. And I don't even know if during that whole partnership that they've even ever played a match with someone else in a tournament. What do you think about that?
Not that I can remember, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, they've been at it a long time, and they're still as good as they are.
Watch it. 15-40.
Yeah, Nunez and Powers have one win this season. They won the Fairfield Open. And Durant and Mitchell really didn't play the whole first half of the season. They've only started playing, in the last month or so.
Yeah, last couple tournaments.
Yeah. And there's a range of Durant just all over the middle of the court, right?
Game, Durant Mitchell. First set is tied 1-0. Oh, sorry, second set, 1-0.
A lot of big forehands, Guy, at the end of that game.
And Durant is so good even with his size, about climbing up that side screen and hitting that inside out four. And actually, you don't know where it's going. He could easily hit it down the line as much as he goes inside out or.
Love 15.
Yeah, it seems, David, like the second half of this season has just flown by. I mean, we're here in Short Hills, and then the tour goes to Pittsburgh, PA for the Steel City Classic, February 15th and 16th, and then on to Indianapolis. And then the Nationals, March 6th through the 8th at the Philly Cricket Club in Philly, PA.
And Guy, the Nationals are going to be played. The finals are going to be Saturday night under the lights, right?
Yes, they are. New this season.
30-15.
Kind of the Saturday night watch party, and such a good move by the APTA. I mean, you saw the crowds here last night at Short Hills. I mean, not only outside but inside. I mean, it's just the vibe is just so good.
Yo. Yo.
He just hit that forehand volley from his pocket, didn't he, Dave?
Yeah. Really well placed drive there by Powers.
So good. And again, when Mitchell knows he's going to swing that big, he's only looking to volley at the ball at his chest. Everything else goes through. And Randt is 100% spotting those drives, not trying to hit through anybody, just changing the location, changing the height. And immediately Randt back up inside the baseline to do that.
40-15.
So Dave, the good and the bad, right? You know, when Randt stands inside the baseline, if you were going to employ that tactic, your timing would have to be lights out. But so I don't know if that's bad or good. You just have to have great timing because the ball's going to land more at your feet. But what you do is you take the time away from your opponents, which you saw on that drive to Powers. He'll step back up.
40-30.
And Guy, early on in the second set, you know, we've seen a few more mistakes from the Durant-Mitchell side of the court than we did in the first set. You know, again, they played an amazing first set. You know, we got to look to see Powers and Nunez take advantage of those, and so far they haven't been able to take advantage of those couple mistakes.
Durant-Mitchell won the first, 6-3.
And that was a good move by Durant-Mitchell right there to go Aussie formation there, where it just eliminates some of the angle that Powers had. Made him think about it a little bit. But they're proactive in that. You know, they recognize that's a 40-30 point. It's a big point. Do something different.
Right, take the return or take Powers out of his routine.
For sure. All right, big game here for Nunez and Powers. I'm Guy Moore along with David Broderick. We got Johan Durant, Stephen Mitchell playing Guillermo Nunez, and Mark Powers. 6-3 Durant Mitchell. They're up 2-1. And Dave, I think this this game could easily define what happens in the second set.
Yeah, this is, I think, a really big game for Nunez Powers
15-0.
for a lot of reasons. But, you know, we saw that first point where if you're just tuning in, that's pretty much been the story of the matches. Randt Mitchell hitting big forehand drives from the baseline and then blitzing behind it, looking to create, you know, just speed up play and looking to get into those drive volley exchanges. You know, I think they can't, like we talked about it earlier, Nunez and Powers can't let Randt Mitchell get too far ahead because, you know, again, you see there the big forehand overhead behind Randt.
And that's the one we've been talking about. I mean, that's why it's just, and you know, he held it until an important point in the match, and maybe that's what he's up to with that, but
30-all.
And guys, we're sitting here watching it, you know, to your point earlier, it doesn't look like it was going to be that tough of a shot for Nunez to play. But you know what? You have to get out of the way of it. You have to chase it. You're looking up. You don't know where you're running, and you don't know where Randt and Mitchell are. So, you know, it appears like it was an easy shot, but you know, when you factor all those things in, it's really not. You know, it's not an easy shot, and that's why Randt does it.
yeah.
Game, Randt Mitchell, they lead 3-1, second set. I got a new ball for you, Steven. Steven, I got a new ball for you.
Well, and going back to that hard hit overhead, which we have been alluding to for most of the match, you know, it was just a matter of time when we see it. Yeah, Nunez was almost up to the door, Dave.
Right.
Chasing that down. And then, you know, why did he miss that long? Because when you have feet that are that fast, it's tough to slow your hands down, to control it. Dave, would you agree, Dave, that this match really so far is Randt being vintage Randt?
Love 30.
Yes, he's definitely imposed his presence and will in this match. You know, he sort of set the pace from the first point of the match. He's kind of dictating that pace, and yeah, no, he's definitely a big part of why it's 6-3, 3-1 right now.
$15-30.
And again, that's what I was talking about earlier, where it's love 30, and they miss a lot long. You know, and right now, like I said, so for as good as they're playing Randt Mitchell, you know, you can't give away those points when you have the opportunities. And again, it's still, this match, you and I both know, is a long way from over. But, you know,
30-40.
Nunez and Powers have to start taking advantage of the opportunities they're getting, because they're not getting a lot of them.
Yeah, and that Aussie formation on that side with Powers has kind of neutralized that forehand for the moment.
Advantage, Randt Mitchell.
I think that was 3 missed returns in a row.
Absolutely. Yeah, here's the I formation with Randt ducking.
Game, Randt Mitchell, they lead 4-1, second set. Randt Mitchell won the first 6-3.
Corian is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2024-2025 season. Corian is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at Corian.com.
What do you think, Dave? You think Nunez and Powers change much here? I mean, to be honest with you, probably not even a tactical conversation. I mean, those were all just technical mistakes, so they eliminate some of that. I mean, they're easily back in the match.
Yeah, no, I mean, the plan, whatever plan they have and putting together is, you know, it's not the tactical point, right? you know, like we talked about, they missed a bunch of returns in the last game when they were winning the game 15-40. And, yeah, I think they just, you know, have to let Randt Mitchell maybe hit more balls at this point of the match. I mean, it sounds kind of easy, but I think that's what it's coming down to right now.
Yeah, I agree, David. And again, just a blitzing 101 lesson. You know, Durant's coming in, and the only thing he's concerned about is he's coming in straight ahead. He's only concerned about protecting his line unless there's some floater across the court that he could go grab. But otherwise, he's not reaching for balls because he knows his first responsibility is his line.
And we talked about it early on where, you know, as Durant's looking to move in, who knows if he's even looking to cut a ball off. I mean, he's just looking to make Powers and Nunez think about that first volley, think about where he is. And to your point, yeah, if he gets a ball floating, he's looking to take that shot. He's going to volley that. But I think otherwise he's just looking to put sort of tactical pressure on them. He's trying to make that first volley harder.
Well, I'll tell you what, Randt and Mitchell sure did have a, yeah, well, it's not only working, but they had a very, very fast start to this match, and they've continued it.
Yeah, there's been no letdown on their part since the first point of the match.
See if Randt makes a move here on Mitchell's return.
Game, Randt Mitchell, they lead 5-1, second set.
Well, I would say he was going to make a move, Dave, because he was standing on the service line by the time that ball landed out. So again, for those watching this match, we have our other men's semi right behind us with Alvy Regalado, Jose Salazar playing Graham McNerney and Adam Morgan. They'll be playing the winner of this match. I know the men's finals is not going to start before noon, so stay tuned. We have the women's finals coming up as well around 10:30, 11.
And Guy, in that other semifinal match, Regalado Salazar.
2-all still?
It's actually 3-2. 3-2 in the first set for Regalado Salazar.
So I wasn't far off from it still being 2-all 15 minutes later?
No. They do have an add-in to go up 4-2. That could be huge.
all.
Yeah, and both of those teams in the other semi, Dave, are willing to stay out there as long as it takes. And they're very efficient teams. So even if it is a 3-hour match, either one of those teams are going to be ready to roll in the finals.
$40-15.
And here we are to a quick match point.
Game, set, match. Randt Mitchell, 6-3, 6-1.
And I would say, Dave, that was about, there was one loose game from Randt and Mitchell in the middle of that first set where they missed 2 or 3 returns in a row, and that was it. They gave nothing else away. It's just they played as clean and as solid of a match with a definitive strategy, just neutralizing overheads, setting up their offense, Durant being Durant, moving forward, controlling the tempo, controlling the court, right?
Yeah,
and
no.
Nunez and Powers, a little bit of a slow start, but I mean, great match they had yesterday. It's one of the best matches I've seen them play. So, your thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, no, I was going to say to you when you were talking about it, I mean, do you think the heels of Stephen Mitchell and Johan Durant's shoes hit the ground? I mean, they were on their toes, leaning forward, moving forward, just with a lot of pressure, and, you know, it paid off in, you know, huge.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But, yeah, they played an excellent match.
Yep, great calling that with you, Dave. Stay tuned, everyone, for our women's finals. And after the women's finals, we'll have our men's finals with Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell playing the winner of Jose Salazar, Alvi Regalado, and Graham McNerney and Adam Morgan. Thank you.
All right, Guy, thank you.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Historically, Glen Oak is a golf-only club, but they wanted to add an extra amenity, and Glen Ellen has a huge community for paddle. We were lucky to pull 200 players from the Glen Ellen community.
Many members had played at the Glen Ellen Park District.
We were able to get a bunch of teams going, kind of right off the bat.
The facility has been an amazing addition to Glen Oak. It's really brought a lot of new ladies to the sport.
And it's not only the courts, but this beautiful paddle hut.
Having a place to hang out, relax, catch a game, as well as come and play paddle with your friends has been a huge attraction. As you come up the ramp to the sports complex, the first thing that you're gonna see is that large outdoor patio.
There's a fireplace out here on the main level.
You can drink and eat with your friends, as well as look out to the 9th hole where you can watch some golfers come through during the right seasons. As you head inside, you'll walk into our large lounge space and dining area.
There's a really long bar with beautiful light fixtures. There's made-to-order food.
We got a great bar staff, great restaurant.
You can get quesadillas and burgers. The ribs are awesome here.
We have a ton of bar seating and lounge seating. We have our cubby area where you can store all of your belongings. 4 TVs, an indoor fireplace.
It's a great place to come on a Friday night just to hang out.
Bring the kids down. It's very family friendly, so we've brought our families in on Sundays and kind of been teaching them the game.
Downstairs, you're gonna see a fully stocked bar, as well as 3 golf simulators, and our second outdoor patio, where you can hang out by our fire pit and enjoy the evening after you play. The membership loves the full year-round rackets operation.
There's a lot of different opportunities for all levels. We have children's programs,
Couples paddle.
mixers.
Our other friends over at the Park District, we've invited them. We actually tend to call it the vortex sometimes. We'll come down here and we're all getting together and having so much fun, nobody ever wants to leave. So it's really been great.
We are at Glen Oak Country Club, and this is the APTA Hut of the Month.